Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Behind the Scales, where we go deeper than just the animals. We get into the mindset, the grind, and the people building something real in this industry. Today's a special episode. We have three guests. We have the crew behind Morph Forge: Jamie, Jason, and John. A team that's not just breeding, but building a brand, a platform, and a presence in the reptile community. And what makes this one different is we're just not talking snakes. We're talking partnership. We're talking content. We're talking legacy. So let's get into it and bring the Morph Forge family to the stage.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how is everyone?
Howdy, howdy.
Good.
Oh, I'll get right into it. How did the Morph Forge come together in infancy?
I think John gets to answer that one.
Yep, I guess I could start that. It basically started with my son. He was off in college and grabbed a ball python. I've told the story several different times, but maybe not to the people watching today. Jason and I grew up in Florida. So okay. South Florida, Everglades, like basically right in the Everglades. And snakes were something I wouldn't say you necessarily were afraid of, but you were very aware of. You have your, cottonmouths, rattlers, pygmies. I mean, everything. Obviously, there's a lot of pines. There's a lot of different kinds of snakes that aren't venomous. But as a little kid running around in that stuff, the message was, hey, just keep your distance, So
yeah.
It was never something in my brain as a kid to be a pet initiative or something that we would look in that way. I always goofed with them. I always caught them, put them to the side. We used to catch rattlers to send over to the milk places, where they do the anti-venom. So we were always around them, but we never viewed it as a keeping scenario. It was something you either avoided or you had a use for, but not in a companionship role, right? So it was really odd when my son decided, hey, I'm going to get a ball python. My first thought was like, what do you want a snake for? It just never really entered my mind that way. So he ended up moving home from the COVID stuff. And when all of that was starting to kick off, they were going to all remote. I was already, doing my thing out of the apartment there. And he brought that there to where I was at. And it was really close proximity for a super short introduction to him. Like couldn't avoid it. He was out. I was out. We'd kind of have to swap who was taking care of it. And it didn't take but about 2-3 visits before it was just intriguing. Could see the personality in the little guy. I mean, I'd have him out and he'd be curious. He'd be cruising around my desk, checking things out. And then he'd come back to me and I'm like, I don't picture a snake doing that, So
right.
Instantly I start watching the videos and stuff and seeing what it's all about and, what's out there, what's available and where the big interest is drawn. Well, and then of course you stumble on all of the morphs available. Yeah. And you end up in that rabbit hole of, man, there is a ton to do with these things outside of just a keeping scenario. You have some artistic outlet. You have some creativity mixed in there if you're looking at genes and what things can do with each other. So instantly went and bought some females and starter snakes of my own. Thought, what the heck, man, I want to try this. This is super interesting, right? So then Jason swung over and he got to visiting with him too and instantly kind of fell in love. He's like, man, we should do something with this. So he started with a couple of snakes and then wasn't long after Jamie kind of trickled in there.
Yeah, I
and
think
I'll let those two tell their part of it, but yeah.
I think John had, I don't know, 10 to 14 snakes when we had started dating, and I'd go over to the apartment and very timid. He'd be like, do you want to hold it? And I'm like, I don't think so. I'll just watch you for a few times. And then one time he just like put it in my hand and I was really scared, but we tried a couple different ones and one of them was a little more friendly, than the other would start crawling around my arm. And I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. Still kind of just like, but time and more visits and more holding. And I fell in love with them too.
Yeah, you did. Jamie went from, oh, these are kind of cool until the eggs showed up. And then she was like out of control, man. She was so excited for the eggs. That takes, you got a few months, you're sitting waiting for these things to hatch, and she's talking about it every single day, man. Hilarious.
It's so hard to be patient during those 55 to 60 days, man.
Well, who's the
So,
big
yeah.
organizer in the group? Who organizes and keeps everybody straight?
Well, we honestly kind of share that.
Yeah.
I mentioned this on a show at some point, but we're how I say it is we're pretty allergic to failure. So if somebody's slacking, or even a couple of us are slacking, somebody's finally like, all right, I'm going to get this straight, and they just step in and either bring up the topic, and then we finally get together and discuss it and make a decision, or they just make the decision for us and we go, okay, nobody else made it, so I guess that's what we're doing. But
Right.
yeah.
Well, it seems like it works well. Let's see. Shout out to a few people out there in the chat today. I think we saw my wife. I guess she just informed me that my youngest son's coming for dinner tonight.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we saw Bash Coder
Yep. I saw
and
Craig out there.
Dickie Foster. Who else? Nick, 666 Serpents. And I think that's all that I've seen so far. Nick's a good guy. He helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
Nick's a
it.
good dude. Yep, for
Yeah.
sure.
I saw Nikki. Hi, Nikki.
What's something that about running a partnership, I guess if you want to put it that way, that people don't understand, or how things work in that manner, kind of thing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I'll start this one off. So I guess the one thing that can maybe be tricky for some people, it really depends on how everybody meshes, but just understanding that everybody has their own ideas, and some of those will be shared. Maybe everybody agrees, but not always. And it's important, to listen to that and have respect for other people's ideas and just allow them to do those things. And I think we've done really well at that.
Mhm.
We have the running joke, and really, we blame it on John. Obviously, it's not John's fault at all. But Jamie and I are kind of like, we really want to do some monsoon stuff. Well, monsoon's expensive, and the reason we don't do any monsoon stuff is because it's expensive. But John's not really interested in monsoon, so we just blame it on John. Won't let us do monsoon. So
It's funny.
yeah.
I like the look of monsoon, but it's kind of like
It's hard to do.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
pinstripe in a way. It dominates a little bit too much, maybe.
It
Yeah.
does, yes.
That's
Yeah.
my take on feeling on it. Anyway.
That's the challenge, man.
Yeah.
And that's
Find
kind of why I
something to
want.
break it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and here's in my defense, I guess my only argument with monsoon is we'd have to get rid of one of the other 12 projects. And you can only get so many, and it's not necessarily against monsoon. It's like, holy man, we're already, 8 different directions, and do we need another? And then especially an expensive one, right? So
Well,
100%.
exactly, because taking on a project is not just one or two animals; it's a group of
Right.
animals.
right.
Yeah. And
I mean,
since
if you're
there's
really-
3 of us and we all have different interests, we get quite the variety going.
I mean, if you're going to do it right, you need at least one good male and a backup, and 5-6 females, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a good 8 to 10 animals to really feel like you're working towards something,
Right. Have y'all ever had a moment where you just thought this is not going to work out? Buddha is in the house.
Hi.
Greg, good to see you. I don't think we've ever hit that point. There have been things we've attempted to do that have turned out that way. Certain projects, certain animals where, they just weren't going to go. We've gotten animals that just refused to breed or simply produced infertile eggs every time. So you run into those roadblocks. As far as the things we want to do and directions, I think those have gone pretty well. I don't think we've really run into an issue where, like I say, it wasn't expected to be difficult. It's always tough, right? It's always a new experience, especially in this being so far from this in what we did previously. I mean, construction. Jason's
Yeah.
in engineering, and
I
we're
was in
nowhere near this
childcare.
field. So yeah, Jamie's in childcare. I mean, we didn't have anything similar, so we knew it was going to be a new thing for us to
Yeah.
learn, to develop, and to work towards. So we knew the difficult things were going to happen, but never a dead end or an issue we couldn't get past.
That's good.
All your typical starter people stuff, like I say, that weird animal that just won't thrive right, or whatever the case,
This one might be a little sensitive, but the brother dynamic can be hard for people sometimes. I've got 2 older brothers. One of them, there's no way in the world we could do something like this together. One, and the other one, it would be a breeze.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But you know each other very well, so you know how each other normally is feeling and expect different, reactions from in the beginning anyway.
Yeah, we beat the hell out of each other for about 14 years and got that all out of our system. We're pretty good now.
I was the youngest. My brothers are 9 and 10 years older than I am, but I'm the big brother.
Yeah, and see that's a bigger gap too. And I guess one of the things I was going to say, maybe that might have been a little different for our age group, or maybe getting in those people that are in their early 40s up through the 60 age group. As kids, we were kind of left to figure it out. And we have a younger brother too. So if we didn't work it out together, there wasn't anything there that was going to step in and make it different. So I think that dynamic when you're real young kind of creates something a little different than you have now, where maybe another figure steps in and separates the brothers, or, none of that was going on. So if we didn't figure it out, that was kind of the end of the road, and I think some of that's gone away a little bit. But
Gen X.
I am year 1 Gen X.
Right.
I'm kind of like I'm a baby booming Gen X, I guess.
Right. Yep.
And it's much better that you 2 figure it out than Dad would have, or someone would have had to step in and figure it out for you, because that wouldn't have been
No, if Dad steps in, it's definitely figured out.
Figured out for you, yes.
Yeah.
My dad passed real young, when I was real young, I think 4, and I can remember him spanking me one time.
Yeah.
I pulled a girl's hair, and I can remember him. And my dad was like 6'6", and he's a big guy, like 280, somewhere in there. He picked me up by the seat of the pants, held me out with one hand, and it's like he undid that belt, went back, and started wheeling that way, man. I never wanted that to happen again.
Yeah.
That's it too. Like, once that fear is put in really well and solid, you really never have to do it again. It's like it's ingrained that what's coming, and those limits aren't pushed,
And I think that's healthy. Today here in Pensacola, there's a big thing going on in the paper and the Facebook ads. Panama City Beach, Florida has been a spring break destination for a long time.
Yeah.
They have done away with alcohol sales in the month of March to keep spring breakers away.
Wow.
So they went to Daytona and Pensacola. Last night we had shootings and all kinds of stuff going on at the beach, and just a real mess over there. And you got yahoos jumping on Facebook talking about it's a racist thing and this and that, and it's not. It's not a racist thing. There's kids. It's a society problem.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, and it's going to hurt somebody's feelings, but kids today aren't taught respect,
right,
or boundaries, or integrity at all. And when they go out to these places on their own, you can see that. And the fear you were talking about, John, I think is a valuable tool. People think it's not, but knowing that there's a consequence for your actions is important to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And just the respect. I mean, the big difference is just what you said earlier, G-Paw, is there's shootings. Well, that wasn't when we were kids, man. We were rowdy. We went out to the beach. We drank beer. We went out in the wood. The worst thing that happened is people got into a fist fight. You settled things like that. Nobody's stabbing each other or shooting each other. It's just gotten to be ridiculous that way. So, and it stems from what you said. People are not bringing people up correctly. I mean, there's no more to be said. That literally is it.
And many times after that fist fight, you become friends anyway, or you went back to being friends.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
You got it out of your system and ready to move on.
Yeah.
Today, you know, like, he did me wrong 7 years ago. I'm gonna beat the hell out of him.
Yep.
For sure.
I don't know.
Yep.
Well, I know you guys do the No Remorse podcast and things as well. What's the biggest lesson you've learned from the podcast itself?
Oh man, I mean, for me, it's just a much bigger respect for how much work there is in it.
I was gonna say commitment.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, meeting the people, everybody out there, community's awesome. All the people that show up every week, all of that side of it was what I hoped it would be, and that's been great.
Mhm.
What I had no idea about was like how much time you sink into that, even on a simple repeat formula. If you're doing it every week, you still got to reach out to those people, make the contacts, build all of the stuff for it's the amount of work. So I have a much bigger respect for the people out there doing it, whether that's recorded or live. I mean, it really doesn't matter. There's still a ton of time, you know. So
John and Jamie do 99% of the work, you know, the preparation for that show. I really don't. And even with that, so it's weird because you've got two kinds of podcasts. You've got the live stuff, and then you've got the pre-recorded.
Yeah.
And for me, it's even given me, I wouldn't have thought this before doing it. So it takes some internal convincing for you to get on and do a live show. It's right. You get nervous about it, especially in the beginning. But the respect for the people that are doing the long format recorded, I don't know how they do that, especially when it's the same thing. It's on a weekly. I don't know how they do it. It's the amount of work that goes into that. When you go out and you do live, you just accept whatever happens. But the recorded stuff, they're going in and they're tweaking this and they're, you know, cutting and clipping and putting stuff together. I mean, that is a tremendous amount of work. Yeah.
Well, I guess we should go ahead and give some attention to our sponsors right now. So we'll do that and we'll be right back.
Sure.
Operation Deeds, Not Words 2 is dedicated to empowering and uplifting disabled veterans and first responders through unwavering support, meaningful resources, and real opportunities that honor their service and sacrifice. Our mission is to build a thriving, impactful organization driven by the shared vision, commitment, and accountability of our team, because when we work together, there is no ceiling on what we can accomplish.
We are equally committed to the growth of our team members, actively encouraging them to expand their voices, followings, and businesses as essential pillars of our mission. Being part of Operation Deeds, Not Words reflects great credit upon our members, uniting communities in the Fat Man Nation, bringing line morphs under a shared purpose rooted in service, resilience, and action-driven impact. Deeds, not words.
ReptileAds.com is the modern marketplace for buying and selling reptiles, amphibians, and exotic pets. Built by Purple Turtle Technologies, we're creating the most trusted platform in the industry. Join thousands of breeders and collectors on the most trusted reptile marketplace. List your animals, connect with buyers, and grow your business with Reptile Ads. Enjoy your easy access to stores as well as a genetic calculator for your convenience. Stop by and check us out today.
He tricked us.
I know.
Break
I
between
was like,
commercials,
hey, just kidding.
it always trips me up myself. Instead of on Sipping with Serpents last night, if you can't go support Fat Man Nation and Deeds and Not Words too, I'm going to call you un-American.
Right.
Right? I mean, pretty much.
I'm not going to get on here and talk about politics and that kind of thing, but our military people out there are not involved in the politics.
Exactly.
They are unselfishly giving their lives and time and energy so that we can do things like breed snakes, have podcasts, go to dinner when we want to, and all the freedoms that we do have in this country. So you're supporting those people, not an administration or not a party. So I encourage you to go to thefatmannation.com. They're selling shirts for $35 each. You can get a blue or green shirt, and that money goes to support Camp Freedom, where they help disabled vets go hunting, fishing, all those kind of things that they've done in the past and they can't do now. And they have other tiers on there where you can donate more money and get different things as well. So I encourage everyone to go do that. And also go to americasfaveteacher.com and vote for Jamie Ostrander, Professor Python. She's a number one. She's in first place right now. And it goes for 5 more days. So let's try to keep her there, because she gets like a $25,000 grant. She can get that ultrasound machine she's looking for her classroom, other things for a classroom. They get this, vacation going to Hawaii. But the thing that a lot of us are excited about, they get an assembly at school with Bill Nye, the science guy.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
To me, that's
very
pretty
cool.
exciting right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool.
Every day, go over there and vote for her. It does make you log into your Facebook to verify you are who you are. It's not anything other than that. And you can vote for free once a day. So I would appreciate that. And I know that Jamie will as well. So what projects are you all most focused on right now?
Oh, you want to hear what my favorite one is?
Gecko.
Well, besides the geckos, the snakes, I love the pieds. So I'm really hoping for that OD scrambler pied this year.
That would be nice.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely a big one. We got a couple actually different pie directions going,
Yeah.
putting KRG in there as well. So KRG is one that's just not out there a ton. I'd like to get that into some animals and be able to see some different interactions, but I'll just do one. I mean, it's always going to be my thing is the lace xanthic stuff. And we've got that stuff paired up. So really trying to push that into some lace xanthic clown combos and hopefully get some really nice builders for that this year. So
I noticed you can pick out that lace pretty quick, John.
Yeah, he's good at
well, depending now, and I will say that with the whole lace thing out there, we got really lucky. We did 4 animals way back, 2021. I had been looking at the gene. I was interested in the gene. 3 of the 4 were laced. They've tested all fine for their offspring. 1 was not. That one produced a lot of animals for us, but everything we assumed was lace was being held back. It was stacked into other things. So thankfully we didn't put a bunch of that out on the market, but we know what they are now. And we're using it anyway, because as it's grown up, it's really odd looking and it reacts with lace. So
it's actually really cool. Yeah.
So, can it still be a different line of lace that they just haven't found a test for yet?
It's possible.
That's a possibility. My tendency is to think not, because we've put it in with lace now and we don't get what we would consider like a white lace reaction. We get a really strange pattern influence, which I wasn't expecting. I do feel like it's a gene. I have no idea what it is, but they don't react like they're the same thing in a different line like a red stripe might.
Gotcha. How about you, Jason?
Yeah, so projects for me both have lace in them. Trying to take the super gravel clown red stripe combos and get lace into that. Got a ways to go on it yet. Same with my other project is Mojave, Orange Dream, and Desert Ghost into both pied and clown with lace. Might end up with some hypo in that one too, which would be really cool just because that's kind of where I'm at with what I've got to work with. It happens to have hypo. So working on those two. That's primaries.
Nice. We're going to do some pies this year. The wife also really likes the pies. So in procuring a few animals, male, higher end males, I went ahead and did that with a clown pied male, like a hurricane clown pied male. And we have several animals that are het pied, but then we also have the girl that is Inchy, Orange Dream, Leopard, Pinstripe, Clown pied. So We'll see. We'll see what it does. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
But, I sat down and made a list of all my inventory, I guess is what I'm call it. And most of them all are either double het hypo pied, hypo clown, or DG clown or DG hypo. So
Nice.
I should end up with a lot of good animals
Yeah.
come next year anyway. So
Yeah. It's a nice orange dream, Enchi, leopard, hypo.
yeah.
So, wow. Yeah.
That's
I like
pretty.
it.
Yeah.
And the pin in there, I mean, people will say, pin, but pin
I
clown
love-
is one of my
yeah.
favorite clowns.
I
They
love
just are.
pinstripe.
Yeah.
I've got 3 Cypress girls I'm trying to decide a focus for. I've got an orange dream Cypress double het hypo pied and a Mojave Fire Cypress het clown. And what is the other one? She is Cypress Fire Cinnamon het clown. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna,
Okay.
I may just put the hurricane to them too and see what goes from there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with Hurricane. It
Right.
goes with just about anything. It's such
It
a
works.
great
I
gene.
think it works well. I think it does.
Yeah.
So
Out of Scrambler, GHI, and Hurricane, which one do you like best?
I probably like Hurricane.
Yeah.
I like Scrambler and I like GHI. I
Mhm.
do. GHI is probably attainable for me. Scrambler is probably more than I want to spend money on right now.
Yeah.
Kind of like the monsoon thing,
Right.
you know. But down the road, that would definitely be something I'll consider.
Yeah.
You know, this year, where we're at, and I think we talked about it once before, is when I started, I had that newbie kind of thing, and I bought this and that and this one and that one, and it looked good and it was pretty, and now I've been able to consolidate things down to a pretty good core
Nice.
that we're pretty focused on what we want to do. I want to add a Krypton girl this year, and next year I think I want to add a redhead,
Mhm.
not just my wife. And unless something else comes up, we'll see. I'm not sure. But are you guys chasing visuals, recessives, or long-term goals, or long-term lines, in your opinion? Or both, or all 3?
Yeah, I mean, our long-term goals definitely do have the recessive. Now, if you're talking like just recessive stacking, no, I think that was a real common mistake by a lot of people for a few years. Is like, I want that quad recessive, but no incomplete dominance in there. And then what do? You can't just add one once you're 3 recessives deep. You have to go back to each recessive and get it in there. And it's like, I don't want a blank, 4 recessive animal. I just don't. I have no interest in that at all. Plus, I think really the recessives are more your base, and the incomplete dominance is where you get creative with it, in my opinion. That's where you really get the different looks and things. It's to play with the incomplete dominance that you're putting in that recessive, not the other way around. And I think it was viewed backwards for quite a while.
It's funny because we've mentioned that on our show, man, I don't know how many times, because we still see people doing it, and it's like, we're trying to be like, not that what you're trying to put together is not cool. It's cool, but if you want any of the dominance in there, you're going to be absolutely screwed in the end, because you're going back to the beginning and starting all over again. So kind of like a hint to get those in there right away.
And I still see people talking about making quad hets and being excited about that, and I guess that's fine. But I guess on my point, unless I'm just seeing this wrong, I know the individual odds itself doesn't change, as far as things go, but the more you put in there, the less likely you are going to hit what you want to hit.
Right.
Yes, but the more ability so it gives you the agility, right? Probability probably drops, like you're saying, because the more genes you got, which ones are going to come out. But without those, you got zero possibility, and that's the problem with the stacking all the hets without the codoms in it, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a common, and I think we did in Discord for a little bit too, G-Paw. We got into a long conversation about how all that odd stuff works. And
Yeah.
really, if you're excluding a gene, if you don't want something in that combo, then your odds drop.
Right.
But your odds to hit the one you want with some pluses actually stays the same.
Yeah.
So it doesn't change at all going down the road.
But it does, doesn't it? I mean, if you got an animal with 4 genes in it
No.
over here, if you have an animal over here with 4 different genes, I guess it's just a way of understanding it and saying things in terminology, because now you've got 8 to deal with instead of 4. So it is.
Yeah, but if you're talking codoms, though, it doesn't matter which side you're on or any of that. Your odds stay the same unless you're doubled up. Right. If you're doubled up on each side, then your odds change. But if you have totally separate codoms on the right, totally separate on the left, the odds of those passing are no different than if you doubled how many you were on each side.
Yeah,
right?
you could have 32 of them, and each gene has its own odds. That's what people confuse. Like each gene has a 50-50. Doesn't matter if there's 32 of those or 3,000 of those, each one is still 50-50. Right. So if you want that animal with that gene, your odds of getting it stay the same. The problem is you're adding a bunch of stuff you may not want. Mm-hmm. So your goal animal actually drops, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because you might get your gene +4,
Right.
But yeah.
And I guess that's what I was referring to, and that's what I was saying. I say it's a lot of understanding terminology and different things a little bit different. Everyone's mind, frame of mind.
Sure.
What is a project that you think people are sleeping on? Or shouldn't be sleeping on?
Man. I don't know if there are any anymore. It seems like there were a few years back. Yeah, but people have kind of really thought about exactly that question. It seems like people are doing it, maybe not in big volume, but I honestly can't think of one right now.
I had a few in mind, but G-Paw, I don't want to say them because we're not sleeping on them. So, you know what I mean? Where it's like
combos, you mean?
No, just genes that I think could really impact some combinations that we definitely are going to use this year. And I really do hesitate to say that because I feel like that's a good thing in a way. Like if you have a group that's focused on things, then your ability to find those oddities and work those. I do think you guys are all right, though. I mean, I think that's getting less and less as people become more aware that that's kind of where it's at, is finding that little bit of an oddity and working that. But I have a couple in mind. I just don't want to say right now.
I've seen a lot of people bring out bongo lately. They're going to start working bongo, and there's a lot more dinker talk than I've heard in the past lately too. So that's cool. Yeah,
I do have one.
Do you?
Yeah, I got it from Banana Bread. Was it Banana Bread?
Okay.
I can't remember now who, but it came from the auction.
Mm-hmm.
And, gotcha. Yep.
She's different. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that people are sleeping on. I mean, if you think about it and you go to the morph market and look at all the different traits, and you got things like pied and clown and things where you might have 30,000 animals.
Yeah.
But there's several of those genes in there where you've got 5, 8, 2, and why is that?
Right.
They've just been forgotten and people moved on because they're chasing what's new and tomorrow. And those projects got left in the past and never really worked properly.
Yeah. Well, you see a lot too where people leave a gene, right? So the gene gets quote unquote overworked or people don't like it because of this. And then all of a sudden somebody makes that right combo and all of a sudden it's, front page news again. Yeah. That's happened a lot. So there's always the chance of that because how many combinations are there? It's pretty much infinite.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like getting the coding and different things or passwords, every time you add one character, it exponentially increases the chances and things of what can happen there. So exactly 100%.
Yeah.
Well, where do you see the ball python market going in the next few years? How do you think it's going to progress?
huge improvement from what it is currently. I
Right.
do think we're going to see an overall, what if you want to call it a cap. I think people will slowly have less and less desire to approach that 30K animal, 25K,
Yeah.
15K animal. I think we're going to see that number closer to 6,000 or 7,000 for a cap, and I think that's reasonable.
Right.
But I still think those really decent projects, you're going to be able to do okay, and you're going to be able to still turn around and move a $1,200-$1,400 animal. That was the same odds as you hitting a $25,000 animal without the inflated opinion of what that market could look like. But that would be vastly better than where it is now, where we just have a lot of animals to kind of get through and move through. I think a lot of people made the right move by downsizing a little bit, not producing quite as much the last 2 years. And I think that's starting to kind of come back around, but I think it looks great.
Yeah, I agree. I think because of just what John said, that we're going to see an uptick in the pet side of the market. And I also believe we're going to see an uptick in the pricing on the pet side. I think pet side kind of took a little bit of a dive in pricing. I don't think we fell off. I think it's been pretty level, but the pricing's dropped. And I think what's going to happen is we're getting more to kind of I think people have used the term boutique, where the pet people are starting to get a little more educated about them. It's starting to grow as far as how many people are interested. And I think people are going to be willing to pay that little bit of extra to get that little bit of extra of a snake as well. I hope that's true. I really honestly believe that that's what's going to happen.
I really feel sad, I guess, for the classic ball python.
Yeah.
You know, that's what started all this anyway, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, people on Facebook all the time, is this just a classic? Is it just a normal? What does it matter if you've got it for a pet?
Yeah.
And you care for it and things? That doesn't change. The paint on that worm doesn't matter, right?
I've seen some gorgeous normals.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
They are, and some of them are very
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
But they are very beautiful animals, and they're just as sweet or as ornery as any of the rest of them. So I wish pet people wouldn't overlook them like that.
Yeah.
A lot of because now they're wanting those boutique animals and this and that, and I don't know. I've got one I'm just going to keep because of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, if we continue down the same path, they might become expensive. Might be hard to find some normals.
Right.
It already kind of seems like it. You don't see them listed anywhere, really.
Well, it's kind of like I said about clowns before. Is in essence what you're saying, Jason, is very true. On Morph Market, you can go buy a clown for $50 plus shipping.
Yeah.
Right.
You can, and they list it as a normal clown, but I don't believe that there's a normal clown on Morph Market, because that's a project that's been worked tremendously.
Yeah.
We've all done it, and I'm going to continue to do that. But there've been so many genes put into those clowns. Is there really a normal clown out there anywhere?
Nah, it's very valid point, man.
Same thing with the normals. We put so many hits into them and this and that kind of thing, trying to breed quads and this and that. Are they any really normals out there at all? Hey,
and it could be exactly what Jason's saying. And if you think about it, like any other animal out there that's been domesticated, that's true of pretty well everything known. I mean, a dog's a great example, right? Like, look at all of the different specific dogs and why people want them for a reason. But if you look, you're starting to see more people that want a wolf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want the actual original dog. You know what I mean? And I do think that can happen as well. But we're talking about kind of a closed population of animals that we're creating, right?
Right.
So I do know what you're saying. I wish there was more value on the classic ball python or the normal, but I feel like we are getting so far from that will be the rarity. So those things are gonna, flip flop over time. And it's an artificial market, right? Like, I think if we were going out and we were grabbing these things from the wild, which hopefully is getting less and less, feel like it has for 20 years, it's drastically declined, but
Hey, Sammy.
that's a good thing in my mind. You know what I mean? We're creating our own demand for these things by what we produce. And that's actually kind of a good thing if we can make things that are desirable that actually people want homes for, right? So a lot of like teeter points on that, and it's a tough topic. It really is, because you do feel bad for that animal's life
Yeah.
if it's undesired. Absolutely. But,
Right. Well, we're going to let some more sponsors run through real quick, and then we'll be right back.
all right.
Thank you.
Introducing the Python Portal, a ball python breeder who works on snow and true ghost combos as well as the tiger gene.
We also offer many unique custom 3D printed accessories, as well as custom merch, so don't forget to stop by and check us out.
I do want to thank Dirty Bay and the Python Portal. Dirty Bay helps me with snakes. He's donating the pixels to me, which is a big give.
Oh,
Yeah.
He has a unique attitude. He says, I said, man, that's a lot to give. You don't need to do this. I can make more, dude. Yeah, I made those, right? So
Right.
I appreciate that. And Will at the Python Portal, he does a lot of 3D printing for me and different things, and deli cup holders and all those kind of things like that, which is much appreciated.
yeah. We got some cup holders from him.
Hey, Bosa. What do you see new breeders making the biggest mistake of right now?
Overproducing.
Yeah.
Just rushing in general. I think, when, and I hate to say new,
I mean, I am
we're
one.
not, yeah, I mean, we're not around long enough to really kind of feel like we're on either side of that line. We're learning all the time,
Yeah.
we're six years in this, but rushing is a big one. And that was us. I mean, there's still things that we make too quick a decision on
Yeah.
and don't put in the actual time to break that down really well and look at it hard. I mean, we're still fighting with our feeder situation and getting that right. Going in with the idea that you're not going to sprint anywhere and get ahead. In fact,
Right.
You're probably going to make more mistakes. Take your time, do things with a lot of research, a lot of time invested in that side of it, then make your decision and go forward,
Yeah.
And we run into that all the time with people where they come to the table at a show and they're new keepers, but instantly they have that I want to breed in their mind. Oh, okay. What kind of project do you want to work? No idea. Like,
Right.
why do you want to breed again? You know what I mean? And trust me, we were the same way. We just wanted to produce eggs and,
I think we all are.
baby snakes, but that's the big one. It's like that lack of time spent in really laying out what you want to do and making good, solid decisions.
And we don't want to discourage people from wanting to make eggs and have fun. The problem is then you have to do something with them, and we don't want people to jump into this, get discouraged, and leave. We want them to get into it and stay. We want people to join and stay. So it is important to kind of communicate maybe some hard truths to people in the beginning. But
Well, that brings me to another question, Jason. What separates breeders from those that last and those that disappear?
I honestly think it has to do with being able to pivot, agility. Back to what I was saying earlier, you have to, especially in this industry, you really have to be able to look at things and make changes fairly quickly if you want to stay valid, or again, it kind of goes back to the whole beginning, because you can set yourself up in the beginning for complete failure where you don't have the ability. So what you have in stock and what your projects are and all that feed into how agile you can be.
Right.
And I feel like that's the one spot where we've actually, our group has done really well, is we're very diverse. We've had people tell us you need to focus, and it's like, well, we are focused, but we're not focused maybe in the way that everybody else focuses, where we're looking at one project and we're just, following that down the trail. We kind of looked at things and went, we need to be able to shift different directions, and the only way you can do that is you have to be fairly diverse. You still have to be focused, but you have to be diverse. And I feel like we've got a pretty good balance. There's been some mistakes. We're ironing some of that out, right? But we have a lot of genetics that we can work with, and that was intentional. So,
well, when you're talking about sales and producing animals to sell and maybe put back into the business and those kind of things, you have to be able to pivot, as you said, because tomorrow it might be something simple like Mojave that becomes the next big seller right now.
yes.
And you've got to be able, if you're going to stay relevant, I guess is maybe the word. You have to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's not easy to do in this business, because pivoting can mean several years, right, of work.
Of lost work.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Yeah. The other thing too, I think that's a huge divide in those that are let's even break down the word succeeding, because that's different for everyone. I think that having the correct expectation at the front side is the big difference in who's in it now and who isn't. So those people that thought, I'm going to come in with, $10,000, I'm going to walk out with 80. Those people are gone. They were gone a long time ago. They were purely looking at one aspect of it and not really doing the legwork on it. Where other people had the expectation of, I want to learn how these animals operate. I just want to be able to reproduce this, and I'd like to make that snake. Those people are probably still in it. They had their expectation level right. So I think it's a combination of exactly what Jason said and what your expectation versus the work in that was at the beginning. It's usually those people that are disappointed not hitting something they had a false expectation on,
And I think Sammy's right. I think Scrambler is going to continue to explode the next few years for sure.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I want to get back to the dynamic a little bit again here. Who's the most hard-headed?
John.
Oh, easily. Easily.
Are you the older brother?
I won't even argue that.
Are you the older brother, John?
No, I'm the younger brother.
Okay.
Jason got all the young genetics. I got the stubborn hard-headedness.
I got all the forehead.
Who's the idea guy versus executor, or is it, like you say, more of it just moves around?
Yeah, man, that's super fluid with us three. I mean, literally one of us three will have an idea and the other two help fill it in and do some of the, it's pretty fluid.
It is.
I think I have the best ideas.
Well, I think John has kind of steered the genetic side of it more just because he really got involved. He had a full year plus head start on Jamie or I. And he's still just slightly better at it, man. I mean, just like if you look at it on a microscope. No, he does probably steer it more than Jamie or I do. So.
Right.
Sammy said he's going to put Scrambler into geckos, Jamie.
Oh, man. I don't
Nice.
think that's a gecko gene, Sammy. I wish.
Hey, maybe he can pull it off. He's pretty astute at that kind of thing.
Does Sammy have leopard geckos?
If Sammy doesn't get pied into leopard geckos first, I'll be disappointed.
Well, Pied is already in leopard geckos, Jason.
Oh, okay.
So
he already did it.
That's what I know about leopard geckos.
So if Morph Forge was a morph, what would it be?
But that'll probably be different for us all.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take 3 different answers.
Mine would be pied.
I would say acid.
I like acid.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go with the same there. I'm probably like a pied xanthic acid scrambler, you know, just all over
He's
the
got
place.
so many genes.
Yeah,
That would be one cool animal for sure.
right.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
So Jason, is acid and confusion the same thing, or are they actually different?
I in my limited experience with them, I'm going to say they're different.
Yeah.
I definitely see difference in them.
I have 2 acid leopard clown females, but you read this here and you read that there, and it's just I don't know. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could be wrong on this, but I do believe they proved confusion tests totally different than acid. So
Oh, okay.
they look
There
very
you go.
similar, and they were
Winner.
confused for a long time. But
So if everything disappeared tomorrow, no snakes, no following, what would you build back first? Say if you had to start all over, what would you do? What would you do first?
Man, be heavy on the waist. Man.
Now,
Heavy on the
Clown.
waist.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
would have went harder on that sooner. Is that what you're saying, or if it just kind of everything we have disappears, what will we start back in on?
yes, that.
Ah, okay. Boy,
We'd just get a
That would make
normal-
that would make me
normal
cry, and I
waist.
probably wouldn't start again.
right.
That would be a
I mean-
big. That would be traumatic.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a lot of our life just gone in a second.
Yeah.
I would probably do the least fun thing, and I would start instantly on the rats. I would
Right.
get
Yeah.
that really solid and just be able to
100%.
have a good
That's,
shipping market on that, sales market on the rodent side before I really started back into the snakes again, just because I feel
Yeah.
like that
Good
gives
answer.
you the best base. You've got an income already that you can put toward your projects, and you don't have that feed concern. I mean, 100% rats. As much as I wouldn't want to do that, that's what I would start with.
like on
Yeah, from
Family Feud, they would say that was the number one answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I
Yeah,
agree
from an
with you.
economic and business, standpoint, that would definitely be the way to go. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're better off being a rat breeder who appreciates snakes.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
All that.
Yeah.
Luckily, I kind of did it all at the same time, and my rats are now where I can start selling. And besides feed, they feed mine fine now, and I can start selling out to the public. So that's a good thing for me.
Awesome. Yeah.
But we was talking about new breeders and things they do, like they do smart. I think the smartest thing I done, instead of going and buying a bunch of breeder ready animals, I bought mostly babies and juveniles. And I did that primarily because it helped me learn more before I get to that point,
Mhm.
have that big explosion of animals. And it's easier on your pocketbook too.
Right.
Right.
So buying young animals, they're not proven per se, but most of them work out in the long run.
Mhm.
Yeah,
From what I can tell and what I can see.
Yeah, being impatient in this business is very costly. Very
Yeah.
costly.
What's the hardest thing that you guys have had to conquer or to overcome in our community and our industry?
Are you familiar with Greg at Rippin' Reptiles?
Who did talking about?
No, I'm kidding. He's become
Oh.
one of the best friends out there and a great guy. But
You seem like
I
a
think
solid.
Yeah.
yeah, oh, he absolutely is. I think our biggest obstacle, honestly, is location. Well, I say that, and at the same time, I do think it's a benefit in some ways. But I do
Yeah.
think like our location and where we are is our biggest hurdle. There really aren't great small shows close to us that we can traverse to. People
Yeah.
talk about Tinley all the time, and I know that's 8.5 hours from us. It's not just that. It's like what we have to do daily here just to maintain our collection.
Yeah.
We have to check furnace and humidify. I mean, if we aren't on that stuff daily,
Oh, yeah.
it goes to heck fast, where other areas can kind of get away with it. You know, if a window opens in Florida, they're good for a week.
Right.
We can do whatever. I could test nuclear weapons in the backyard. Nobody'd even notice here. So nobody's going to tell us what we can or can't do, which is a huge plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, like John said, everything that you need, and then the market is a long ways away.
Yeah.
And
And
as
a
far
lot
as-
of our months are winter. It's hard for us to ship. We
Yeah.
only have a small window for shipping. So
That's what I was going to say. Shipping's got to be difficult for you
Yeah.
guys.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's definitely better being easier being here in Florida. But
Yeah.
I don't have humidity problems at all, hardly.
No,
I mean, 'cause our humidity's always outside, you know, is 80, 90%. If not,
it's
100,
so
big portion of the time.
it's so bad here. We were just talking about this.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can get my humidifier going to the point where it's condensing on the floor. Like I walk in there and there is literally water on the floor, and I pull a tub out and it's dry as a bone. Like you can push on the cocoa and it'll turn to dust.
Yeah.
You know, and I
Right.
got bad sheds going on if I'm not in there spraying down cocoa. It's just ridiculous. But
Yeah.
Do you guys spray down your cocoa or do you pour water into it?
I spray mine.
We do both.
Yeah, both. I mean, we
Yeah.
use cypress and cocoa here, and honestly, it's kind of what the mode is I'm in. If I've got the sprayer out and I'm pairing stuff up, spray, but I'll also take their cup and just dump that around their cup and refill with clean, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
it does a pretty good job of pulling that stuff in either route. I don't think you want it standing, but like Jay said, in 8 hours, that's completely dry here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think you'd want to pour it somewhere else because
Right.
it's going to be a problem too
Yeah.
much, you know, but
We're filling our humidifiers. We have 2 in our reptile room here, and we fill them twice a day, and it's still 58-60% humidity is all we can, the highest we ever see it.
yeah.
Well, we did
Yeah.
talk about the mental health side of things and issue kind of things like that. And Jamie pointed out that you guys have been pretty lucky as far as you've not had to face any really serious trauma through life or traumatic events kind of thing. But that doesn't go from the fact that you can appreciate that other people need help.
Absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
say that because, John was pointing down at the suicide hotline number, and that's what we're still about, but it doesn't apply to everyone. So it doesn't apply to every show per se.
Mhm.
Where do you want the Morph Forge to be in 3 to 5 years?
Well, we mentioned that Greg at Ripon, right? I'd like to be moved into one of his spare rooms.
Yeah.
No. I just have to give Greg a hard time, but I'd like to see us doing what we're doing in just a bigger, more accessible way.
Yeah.
Able to do more events, able to be able to move into some of the projects we really would like to bump a little bit. But that's going to take a lot of infrastructure for us. Going to finish that facility, got to get those rats on the level of actually shipping out product.
Mhm.
I think we're going to be good, man. We're going to be fantastic. We're going to be doing
Yeah.
a lot of the same, but just a little better, you know?
Yeah.
I've said this multiple times. If I can get to retirement and retire and have an income from this, I'm totally happy. Totally, because I love the snakes. Don't mind the rats, and to have, like I said, a little income from it too would be great. So
I'm kind of strange. I kind of like enjoy the rats. I don't know, it's just because it gives me something to do.
yeah.
You
They're
have to.
cute little buggers.
Well, and I was giving, watering systems, hi Mitzi, and all that kind of thing, and I have stayed away from it. I kind of still use water bottles for every tub because it forces me to go out there every day, and then I won't have a flood that kills my babies either, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You just need more snakes.
My wife probably doesn't want me to hear you say that. I was talking to Satchmo a little earlier this morning, and we were talking about, because I'm going to ship a mail out to him probably tomorrow or Tuesday. And he said, well, I got one coming in Tuesday and 5 coming in Wednesday. He said, but I don't need any more damn snakes. And I said, it's a definite addiction, man. It really is.
Yes.
And that's where I think that's where our industry breaks down, is in a lot of ways with these morphs and different things. It becomes emotion, and for lack of a better word, lust. You want that. That's much better. I want that. And in the beginning, you guys, I sat back and looked. I said, my animals are crap compared to theirs. And that's not the case. We're just in different places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
And because everyone doesn't start out.
Don't tell him
top.
that, Karina.
You don't. No one started. Justin didn't start out being Canova.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How does Karina feel about you getting a leopard gecko?
She's excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's saying, do you know how to take care of it? Do you know what to do? I said, no, but just like everything else, we will study it and figure it out. And we got Jamie.
I hope.
And that's, one of the questions that I came up with, and I'm not going to answer it, but I will refer to it, is I think there's different kinds of breeders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying one's better than the other, but I do believe you have some out there who are focused on a competition.
Yeah.
And you have others, I think, which we belong to, who are more about building a community around us than, hey, if you have a success, I'm going to celebrate that for you and be excited about it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not going to be jealous and upset because I didn't get there first.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even
absolutely.
Even if we started at the same time at the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever looked at it as a competition.
No.
Ever.
No. If you're going to get upset because somebody gets there first, you got a lot of upset coming your way.
Right. I say, wait though, because again, we'll go back to this Greg. I want to use Greg to every
You're picking on Greg a lot.
I'm going to have Greg on the show.
Yeah.
Right.
You should. Greg's great, man.
He's going to have to come defend himself.
Right. But I agree with you 100%, G-Paw. The whole thing with us from the start of this is like, we honestly will laugh and get together on Jason, Jamie, and I on seeing some of the fantastic stuff somebody in our group has made. And it's not, but the opposite, like, oh, I can't believe we're like genuinely excited for those people. You know what I mean? Because we do feel like, I saw that. I do feel like, rising water raises all ships kind of mentality. And we really need to do that as a community, period, or we run out of people to convince that these are great pets at some point. If you see that view from the outside looking in, that's a bad look. You don't want that to be the reflection of how people view this. I hate the word hobby, but this lifestyle. You want them to see the positive that's in it, not this, pettiness and bickering and none of that has a place.
Ridiculous for sure.
Yeah.
One of the things that I feel, I'm new on the block, and I don't feel a lot of times that I have that level of integrity that maybe I'll use the Morph Forge has or whatever, but I'm here to help everybody. If I have something that someone else needs and I've got it and I'm not using it, I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm going to do. If I can help build someone else as well and help them promote themselves, I want to do that because this is not a me thing at all. This helped me. The animals helped me 100%, but this community has made it fun, has made it interesting, developed relationships that are valuable to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And as a whole, the community to me is one of the richer in caring for one another than most communities I've ever belonged to.
Yeah,
And I feel that wholeheartedly.
100% agree with that. And that was a total shock to us. I did not anticipate that. We were counting on the animals are good for us, but we're finding the exact same thing. I mean, the community
Mhm.
as a group and as a general rule has been absolutely that way. You always have the couple, right, that are going to be an issue or whatever, but not nearly as many as I assumed it would be. I will say that. So that's been a huge positive for sure.
So I'm going to put Jamie in a hot seat.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Good luck, Jamie.
Nice.
Good luck. Jamie.
Nice.
My
No.
heart just went thunk, boom, 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 boom,
I just thought
boom.
about that. I just thought about that at the last second. I thought about that. That's what I'm going to do here. But no, I'm not going to do that to you.
Oh,
if I would've-
man.
I mean, hey, which is better looking, John or Jason?
Are you asking
Oh.
me?
Yeah.
Obviously me.
What
You
it-
can't- Jamie, she's biased.
I'm like, well, he's my boyfriend, so
Oh, no.
they're both pretty handsome fellas, in my opinion.
Thanks, Jamie.
I think they're good guys. I appreciate all
They
three of
are
you. And
great guys.
continue to thank you for all the help and guidance that you do offer and give me. And I'm sure that I'll be looking for more of that in the future, for sure. Do you have
Absolutely.
any parting words today, Jamie?
Thank you to everybody who's out here. Just keep on supporting, help somebody if you can, and chin up.
John?
Chin up. I like that.
Chin up.
I'm glad Jamie said we're both handsome. That's a upside for the show, but
You'd have been up if Jason was better looking, wouldn't you?
I don't know. I can't speak for that. I just keep doing what I'm doing. But
Oh,
yeah, I think we've got new shows coming out. They start on April 1st. We're switching our schedule up a little bit, so people that do come out and see our show, there's going to be 2 different styles of shows coming with it. So if you get a
Yeah.
chance, swing out and see it. It's always in good fun. But yeah, and I appreciate you guys letting us on. We don't get to be on this side very often.
telling
It's a
the
good
truth,
time.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you, Jason?
Yeah, I want to thank you for having us on. Like John said, we don't
My
get to do this part a lot. It's nice. It's way more relaxing.
mhm.
Stay thirsty, my friends. And yeah, the new shows, I think, hopefully people will kind of take to it. So we're trying to mix it up a little bit and just give a little more variety. So we'll see how it
I'm
goes,
excited.
but we're excited about it. Hopefully everybody else will find it entertaining.
And everyone's really good about following each other's shows, and that's very refreshing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It doesn't matter who has an open panel. You're always welcome to whatever show. It's not any clicks going on kind of thing like that or whatever, and that's really cool too.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out and watching the show with us today and being here and supporting us. We do it because we want to further this community and further this industry and try to better each other and better ourselves. And we can't do that without people watching the podcast because it would be ridiculous to do it without an audience.
Right.
That's kind of like playing COVID football, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Could you imagine the Super Bowl with nobody in the stands?
Nope.
That would be pretty tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Would.
And I just want to encourage everyone to be considerate of your fellow man. We never know what someone's going through. They may be having a shitty day. We don't know if their best friend passed away or whatever. So let's try not to be real harsh and judging people and things like that. Let's try to understand that there might be a situation going on there that we know nothing about, and be willing to be considerate and help other people. I think our parents and our grandparents were a lot better than that as far as community goes than today. I think social media kind of destroyed a portion of that, or has destroyed a portion of that. But until next week, everyone take care and love one another. Thank you.
Peace out, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks
guys.
again.
I appreciate it.